The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC.
Hi there, welcome along to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm joined in the studio by Lee Mottershead and Graham Rodway, as well as over in Ireland from Paddy Power, Brendan Duke. The big ticket item this weekend is the Dubai duty-free Shergar Cup, the event that used to be widely derided, but everyone seems to have not just accepted, but sort of semi-fallen in love with now. 6 races, it's something a bit different, all good fun. We've got some conventional stuff at Haydock Park and Newmarket, we'll get stuck into that. And then the spotlight switches to the Curragh on Sunday, as well as a very decent race over in France. So all the tips, all the expert news, all the prices from Paddy Power. We will start, chaps, with the Shergar Cup. Lee, just a quick word before we get into the individual races. Are you a fan?
Yeah, I mean, I think you take it for what it is.
Hang on a sec, your microphone's bumping into your chin.
Oh, sorry,
there we go.
It's a huge chin. I take it for what it is. I think, we're in the middle of Glorious Goodwood and the Ebor Festival. It's not a period when you have a huge number of major races, so why not have something that's a little bit fun, a little bit different, and heck, it gets the same number of people through the gates at Ascot as the King George. Now, they're different sorts of racegoers, but they're racegoers. Right. 30,000 people, it clearly works, it's a bit of fun, enjoy it for what it is.
Load of fun or load of bollocks, Graham?
I enjoyed it when I went a couple of years ago. I had a cracking time, mainly because they had an 80s concert on afterwards.
Oh, did they?
Still do.
It was
Who
fantastic.
did they have? T'Pau?
Yeah, they had Midge.
Did they?
Yeah, it was a really good afternoon.
Imagine he didn't do Vienna. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Here's my new number from my new album.
Yeah.
But, obviously I won as well, which always makes it a great day, doesn't it? But I used to hate it, but after going, I must say I enjoyed it.
You rate it. Brendan, are you a fan of the Shergar Cup or are you a traditionalist?
I'm indifferent to it. It passes me by every year. I couldn't tell you one horse that won on the card last year. 6 handicaps.
I couldn't tell you won the Grand National these days. My memory's totally gone. But yeah, I take your point. It's all right. That was a bit of fun, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's a survivor. I mean, it looked like it was doomed, and every year people talk about its impending doom. But it's a survivor, isn't it?
Well, it's not just surviving; it's thriving.
It's flourishing, and it's come a long way from its first incarnation at Goodwood as an owners' competition, with Robert Sanks leading one team and Sheikh Mohammed leading a different team. It wasn't ever going to work like that. Yeah. But as it is now, it's much better.
And why do you say it's flourishing? The gates are up and things, are they?
30,000 people go to the Shergar Cup.
Oh, great. Okay, well, the people have spoken.
Yeah,
the wisdom of crowds. Who am I to argue with the wisdom of crowds?
Well, quite. And as Graham Rodway said, though, the key is to winning. Obviously, you enjoy it much more if you like it. And so to help the listeners and viewers, of course, because we video these things now, to try and find some winners, rather than go through all 6 races, I think I'll just ask the panel to maybe pick out 2 or 3 bets that they like amid the 6. First race, 1 and 15, and by 4:15 we'll know who's won. The champagne will be sprayed around the place. Lee, give us a couple of horses that you think might run well.
Okay, well, I think the best race of the day is actually the first one, the Dash. It's a real quality sprint handicap. Plenty of these have got form from group races. Plenty of these have got lots of good Ascot form as well. Medician Man is a real Ascot specialist, loves the place, runs some great races there. He ran a big race in the King's Stand Stakes this season again, finished 6th, having been 2nd the year before. But Outdo also ran a good race in the King's Stand Stakes, ran 7th. Has run a promising race again most recently. Looks to me like he's coming to form, and when a David O'Mara horse comes to form, they're worth following. So
and what do you know about Pierre Charles Boudot?
Well, I know that Andre Fabre loves him, and if Andre Fabre loves him, that's good enough for me.
Okay, that's your first one. What's your next one going to be?
Next one is in the 3-year-olds mile-and-a-half handicap later on the card. Amanda Perrett has also this one called Combative.
Which race are we talking about here,
This is the...
As we frantically press on our devices.
3:30.
There we are.
3:30. Combative. Ran in the good mile-and-a-half handicap at Goodwood for 3-year-olds last week. Caught the eye travelling really well. Looked like he was coming to hand. Again, Amanda Perrett is one of those trainers that very shrewdly looks at the Shergar Cup in advance, works at horses for races because the prize money is good. She's got D'Souza on this one, and in a race in which Many of them look exposed. I think Combative can have more to give, and he'll be my selection in the 3:30.
I love you being a tipster because
Do
normally
you?
you're top
But-
news hound and colour
But
writer
it's-
and columnist, and here you are proving
But
you
the
can do the tipping bit as
stress
well.
I'm
Brilliant.
feeling doing this as
Really?
well. Oh,
Oh, so you wouldn't want G-Rod's job, no?
I'd be no good at G-Rod's job.
That's not true.
Well, coming in, G-Rod, who are your two Shergar stunners?
Yeah, the best bet on the afternoon at Ascot by some way is Notarized. I think it will almost certainly make all. Last time at Goodwood, it went off at a bonkers pace with one of Godolphin's. I think it was called A Soldier's Life. And the Soldier's Life ended up coming home tailed off, and Notarized was still bang there with half furlong to go, fighting out the finish. I mean, it was an amazing run, considering how fast he'd gone early on. And I just thought, well, when this horse gets in a less competitive race, then he's going to have a big chance. And Joe Fanning,
As luck
what a
would have
booking.
it.
I mean, how is that? Does that happen? You end up with Joe Fanning on a Mark Johnson horse, absolutely perfect, great judge of pace. I expect Notarized to make all.
That's in the 145.
Yeah, and in I think it's the 220. I only want to believe that Lee and I worked it out between us, but we didn't even go for two in the same race. Yeah, the 220, Giretto.
What are the prices do you think of Brennan's two being in the other two races? It's slightly
It's
unlikely,
not likely,
isn't it?
Giretto was very disappointing last time at Haydock, but does not like going that way around. I'm sure it's a far better horse at Ascot. All his best form is at Ascot. Ran a cracker when beaten there behind King Ballet. I think he could come back to form at the track. And Emma Jane Wilson rides, obviously got really a lot of experience at the meeting.
That is actually interesting in terms of the jockeys, in that normally you approach Shergar Cup and they've ridden at the meeting plenty in the past. Most of these guys have never competed at the Shergar Cup. Some of the guys won't have ridden at Ascot. Emma Jane Wilson will be an asset to the horses she rides, definitely.
It's quite an interest. James Pyman's got a theory. He says that...
He's always got a theory, hasn't he?
Yeah. His theory on the Shergar Cup is you always get an inflated price about the jockeys that are not so well known, but it doesn't make too much of a difference on the straight course. So he's more than happy to back the away jockeys on the straight course, but not so much on the round course.
And he likes Notarized as well, I believe.
He does.
Yeah, he gave
big
me a
fan.
shout about that before we walked into the studio. Brendan, your two that you think will make the Shergar Cup even more exciting.
Okay, the first race. Let's start as we mean to go on. Dutch Masterpiece. He's had 2 runs in Ascot. He won a listed race, and he was just touched off in a handicap. And when he won the listed race, he was off 99. He's off 98 tomorrow. And there were definite signs that he was coming to himself the last day in Goodwood. He got no sort of run, so he's around 9-1. He looks a fair price to me. The classic Real Dominion. Now, he got £9 for his win at Ascot the last day, but that's sort of the least he could have got. He looks like one of these typical progressive.
It's the 330, isn't it?
Is it the 330? Yeah. Progressive Andrew Balding horses. I think he'll follow up. And I was glad to hear Graham find an excuse for Giretto the last day. I was struggling because you couldn't forgive him on the ground, but if it was a left-handed thing, then I'd probably row in with him on that as well.
And you're betting on all 6 races already, Brendan, aren't you?
That's correct.
I mean, have they kind of handicapped it nicely? Is it all fairly wide open, or have we got some real hot favourites? Who's the shortest fav out of all these, do you think?
That's a good question.
That would require you having 6 pairs of eyes, wouldn't it, given there's 6 races? I'll have a little flick through.
Or 6 windows open. I mean, so far we're 4-1, 11-4, 100-30. This is classic handicap pricing. Isn't it? I love 100-30. 3-1, the George Sank. This is good stuff because there's only 10 runners in each race. Isn't that,
the play spot should be quite interesting, shouldn't it? 10 runners, 6 races, all priced up, all competitive. So
nothing shorter than 11-4. My cup runneth over. I'm a huge Shergar Cup fan, as it turns out. I didn't realise that 5 minutes ago, but I'm a massive fan.
So who's that then? Who's the 11-4 poke?
That's that Muhadahat in the last.
I knew that. I just wanted you to try and pronounce it because you are the master of pronunciation, particularly French.
I liked your Boudreaux though.
Yeah, that wasn't bad, was it?
Boudreaux,
I've learned
solid.
from it. Pierre Charles Boudreaux. Yeah, that's what it looked like, didn't it? Yeah. Right, let's look on the outright then, Brendan. How are Paddy Power betting? You've got GB in Ireland, Europe, rest of the world, and the girls. And let's just hope, by the way, that obviously there's been quite a lot of stuff in the papers recently about racecourse violence. Let's hope none of these teams' fans disgrace themselves. We don't want people in girls' scarves, rushing at Europe fans and all that kind of thing. So hopefully it'll all be nice and friendly. But what's the team situation, Brendan?
Well, I mean, I understand. I've never been to Ascot, but if you started rushing in the Ascot stand, it could take you 5 minutes to get to the opposite
It's
side.
long, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long
Anyway,
way.
13-8 Europe, 9-4 the girls, 11-4 the British Isles, and 11-2 the internationals.
Even that's competitive, isn't it? Chaps,
Yeah.
you got an expert view on which team are going to be spraying the champagne around?
Don't ask me that. God, that's absolutely impossible. I mean,
All right.
it's hard enough to find the winner of one race, let alone trying to work out all 6.
Okay, well, I won't bother you with the
I would just
go on,
say,
Lee.
given that
You might
these
have an
teams are
opinion.
supposed to be, the amounts are supposed to be allocated with a degree of fairness, why one team is 11-2 seems pretty confusing. And as an outsider to this sort of punditry role, looking in, if you like, I'd say 11-2 seems quite a good price.
Yeah, but then you're assuming that the people that have allocated it have done their job properly.
So are you
And maybe they haven't.
alleging
No, they were
incompetence or corruption?
How does it work?
they use a well-known expert to try and handicap these horses, or put them in order 1 to 10 so they can allocate them fairly. But it's not an easy thing to do, is it?
No.
Because you don't have the prices up or anything. Anyway, we've got that, and we've also got some betting on the Silver Saddle, Brendan, haven't we? Which is the award for the top individual rider. So how do you bet there?
Yes, no surprise. Frankie Dettori, Fav, 9-2, 11-2 Pierre Boudot, 13-2 Emma Jane Wilson, 7's Joe Fanning, 8's Josephine Gordon, and 9's Bar.
What price is Haley?
Haley is 14-1.
14. Okay. Anyone? Any thoughts on top rider? I presume, Graham, you're going to be equally going to cop out if you don't like the team. You're not going to like the individual, are you?
No idea.
Lee?
No,
Come on, you're getting into this now. You're tipping like.
I am, but I'd be pretending I had a strong view on this if I said something.
Okay.
And I don't want to mislead.
But surely it should be
listeners and
completely
viewers.
random, shouldn't it? Like we
Well,
were
that
just
was my point earlier
Should
on.
be,
So
yeah.
there's no way Haley should be 14s or
Well,
anyone bigger than that.
Just back the biggest price then.
Yeah.
All right then. I think we're done and dusted on the Shergar Cup. Let's look at Haydock.
Here's Paddy Power's latest horse racing offer. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP Fav at one meeting every day this month. Paddy Power, you're welcome. Max free bet £25, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Okay, so decent race at Haydock. It's the Rose of Lancaster Stakes. Takes place at 3:45, and Paddy Power bet as follows.
15-8 Scottish, 9-4 Foundation, 7-2 Arab Spring, 8-1 Firefighting, 12-1 Gabriel, 14-1 Royal Artillery, and 100's The Rag.
Interesting old field, this chaps,
good
isn't it?
races.
So you got Gabriel, who obviously once ran against Franco
Yeah.
and has won a Lincoln and done all sorts, and he's really, getting towards legendary status now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Firefighting did me a huge favour at Royal Ascot. Arab Springs back. Foundation's been disappointing, and Scottish is looking the part. He's Fav. Is the Fav going to oblige, Lee Mottershead?
I'd be more keen to side with Arab Spring. First, I think it's a fascinating Rose of Lancaster. Sometimes it's a race that passes you by without you really noticing it's taken place. But not this year. John Goslin's firing in two very interesting 3-year-olds, one of whom Foundation was at one point a leading Derby hope. Royal Artillery could be very good as well. Two seem to write him off. Scottish has already been talked about as a Cox Plate horse. As you said, Gabriel's run a good race in the last two Sussex Stakes. But Arab Spring is fascinating. For a start, he's trained by Sir Michael Stout, who's kept him in training at 6. He's had an interrupted career.
What was his problem? Because we haven't seen him since May of last year.
No, he won the John Porter at Newbury and then was just touched off in the Brigadier Gerard. I don't know what the problem has been since then, but it's clearly been sufficient for him to be kept off the track, but not sufficient enough for them to think, let's abandon all hope here. The fact Stout's got him in the arc suggests that he still has high hopes for the horse. He's got Andrea said he booked. He's his rider today at Haydock, 3 rides from there. Clearly, you'd imagine he's going to improve for the run, but equally, he returned from a long break to win the John Porter first time out last season. He showed he can do that. I think he could well be still a very good horse, and at 7-2-ish, I think he's worth a bet.
Are you down on the road to speak to Stouty to see how the horse is?
Sadly, no. I'm an Ascot man
Oh,
today,
yeah, you're
so
doing
I don't know
Ascot.
who's got the
Okay.
the joy of that one.
Well, we'll hopefully get some words from Michael Stout in tomorrow's Racing Post. G-Rod, who do you like?
Scottish is an absolute certainty.
Is he? We love
I've
views
wasted
like that.
5 minutes
No,
talking
no,
about
not
Arab.
at all. Not at all.
Complete waste.
Yesterday when the prices came out, I quickly rushed onto Sky Bet, had 120 on with Sky Bet at 7-4. And then everyone came out at bigger prices. Everyone went out 15-8. Even someone went 2-1. So I just decided to keep lumping on. I just can't see him getting beat. His form's absolutely top class in comparison to these. He come up against Highland Reel last year at Goodwood, ran him very close, travelled better actually than Highland Reel did throughout the race. Then he bolted up on his final start at Ayr when he beat Muta KF, Exosphere, Firefighting, who runs in this race. I mean, they're all classy horses who have won lots of decent races between them subsequently. First time up, I was at Sandown in the Brigadier Gerard. Looked like he needed the run in the paddock, and he ran perfectly well, travelled nicely into the race. No match for time test in the end, but I thought he ran promisingly. Last time out, again, I thought it was an absolute certainty, and he was. He absolutely bolted up from the front. He's a Group 1 horse in a Group 3 race. I think he's absolute certainty. I think Arab Spring's the big danger. Can't have foundation at all. They've been very disappointing this year. I think they're reaching for some headgear, aren't they, to try and perk him up.
And he's been gelded too.
Yeah, and the rest of them just aren't good enough. I expect Scottish to win easily and Arab Spring to chase him home.
Well, let's hope you win enough to be able to offset the dent in our bottom line now that you started mentioning other bookmakers on a Paddy Power sponsored podcast. Sorry about that, Brendan. I'm sure you don't mind, do you? We all know that other bookmakers do exist.
Yes, I think we have to be grown up about this. Though our listeners know as well. Yes.
Of course they do. Of course they do. Okay, so how do you... we've had your show, haven't we? What we need is your view. Do you concur with Lee that Arab Spring is the value, or do you take the view like G-Rod that Scottish is an absolute certainty?
What a shout this is from Graham. In the words of Butch Harmon, that is a huge call, because the 3-year-olds have been having their way with the older horses this year. Now, maybe I'm going in for recency bias here, but I'd have to side with a 3-year-old, and that would be Foundation. I mean, he no chance in the French Derby the last day. The ground was too soft. He got the 2 Trailer Park Girls trip. I mean, the previous run in the Dante is pretty good form when he was messed around. And just with the way the 3-year-olds have been going this year, I'd side with him.
Blimey, we've got a big difference of opinion there, but I do think overall, if you were judging it on points, you'd have to say G-Rod made the most convincing.
Oh, yes.
Well, it's absolute certainty.
It's all like, well, yeah, quite.
I would never dare
You don't
say
get
that.
stronger than
No.
that, do you?
No.
You don't get any stronger than that. Okay, let's look at Newmarket's feature. It's the Sweet Solera, sponsored by GermanThoroughbred.com. I don't think they're a bookmaker, so we're not going to tread on your toes there, Brendan. It takes place, like I say, on the Newmarket July course at 3:15, and Paddy Power bet as follows.
11-4 Easy Victory, 7-2 Nations Alexander, 7-2 Grecian Light, 6-1 On Her Toes, 12-1 brings in Belle Mead and Grizzle, and 16's Bar.
Okay, Lee.
Well, I think this one is complicated because of the jockey bookings. So James Doyle is a Godolphin jockey, but he primarily rides for Said bin Surur, and yet he's got off Easy Victory, who won for Said bin Surur at the July Festival, to ride Charlie Appleby's Grecian Light. Now, does that mean that he doesn't have any confidence in Easy Victory, and he really thinks that Grecian Light is a potentially top-class filly, which he won't be able to ride next time if she's a winner, because William Buick will then get on her? So I'm finding it hard to read.
It could be simple.
Go on.
That could be the one they like, and therefore they've stuck him on there.
Well, maybe it is, but the fact they've still run Easy Victory is interesting, and I thought she was really impressive at Newmarket. So although he's got offer, and although they might not rate her, I do, so I'm going to say Easy Victory.
All right then, Graham.
Yeah, I mean, what a system it would have proved this year if you just backed all of Godolphin's juveniles at Newmarket's July course this year. I mean, they seem to have won almost every maiden that's been there. They won the superlative with Boynton. You must be pounds and pounds up. And the weird thing is they keep winning these maidens with their second strings.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with Easy Victory. There was a much better fancied horse in there trained by Charlie Appleby. I can't remember the name of it, but Easy Victory won the race easily. And he's quite a well-bred type and was very impressive. However, Charlie Appleby's runners always need the run a lot more than Said bin Surur's do. And the fact that Grecian Light won first time out suggests to me that it probably is pretty smart, because not many of Charlie Appleby's win first time out. They're usually too green to do so.
Bouquet de Flores, that was called, by the way.
Bouquet de Flores.
You did know, you did remember, you just didn't fancy pronouncing it.
Yeah. It's a straight duel for me between the two Godolphin horses,
So
given the way they've been
forecast?
running. And I could see, definitely them finishing first too. I mean, that's happened a lot as well on the July course this year. I just favour Easy Victory over the other one, but, there's all sorts of
Let's have the dual
positives for the other one.
forecast, shall we? Is that you advocating that?
Why not, yeah.
All right, Brendan, you got a view on this race?
It's tricky, isn't it? It's always tricky, these races. You're tying in form lines from Folkestone, or sorry, from
Folkestone.
Not
No,
Folkestone, mate.
Folkestone.
I don't think there's any
Pontefract.
Folkestone form lines anymore.
from Pontefract to Haydock and all over the country. But I was going to just go with the solid one, go with Nations Alexander. She's a progressive filly. She's won on heavy. She ran a big race on Good to Firm the last day. Should run well, and I hope that the Two Godolphin aren't up to that much. Although Justin O'Hanlon would certainly be putting up Easy Victory. He put her up on the Monday jury as one of his
yes, so he did.
takeout horses. So that's something to bear in mind.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's good racing here on Saturday. Definitely something for everyone. Let's get the best bets of Saturday.
If he doesn't win, I will be absolutely staggered. I think it's a stone cold certainty.
Right, I'm going to start. We'll get the worst one out of the way. Golden Stunner for King Rafe Beckett in the 3:10 at Haydock. I think that's got a great chance. Lee Mottershead.
Going with Godolphin again in the 5 o'clock at Newmarket. Colt called Daily Bulletin. Expensive horse. Was a good winner at Wolverhampton of a main in November. Horse he beaten to second, went on to win the King Game with a 7th for Stouty at Royal Ascot. Hasn't run since then. Has got a QE2 entry. Probably won't sell much of a price because the bookies will see all this. But as Rodders was saying, Newmarket and Godolphin this year are a match made in heaven. And Daily Bulletin for me in the 5 o'clock.
And now you've tipped it. It'll be even shorter. I don't think we need to ask you particularly, do we? You're just going to confirm what you said earlier?
Yes, I expect Scottish will win easily.
Scottish will win what? Come on, help these people out. Which race? What time?
It's the Rose of Lancaster, 3:45 at Haydock.
Excellent. And Brendan Duke, what's your Saturday stunner?
I am going to go for the masterpiece in the Dutch masterpiece in the 1:15 at Ascot.
Great stuff. Let's look at Curragh on Sunday in just a mo.
Here's Paddy Power's latest horse racing offer. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP5 at one meeting every day this month. Paddy Power, you're welcome. Max free bet £25, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Hi there, welcome back. Bruce Millington, Lee Mottershead, Graham Rodway and Brendan Duke from Paddy Power. We've looked at Saturday. Let's look at Sunday where the focus switches to the Curragh and also over the channel in France. But we'll start with the big race of the day, the 3:35. It's the Keeneland Phoenix Stakes. Aidan O'Brien has had a bit of success in this. He's won it 14 times. But only 6 of his last winners were sent-off favourite. And we've seen a few this year, haven't we, where a lesser fancied Aidan runner has done the business. But he's certainly got the fav here and no mistake. Caravaggio, Ryan Moore isn't fit to ride. Shamie Heffernan takes to the saddle. And Brennan Duke, how short are you?
A prohibitive 1-5 Caravaggio, Bruce, 9-2 Medicine Jack, 20s Grand Coalition and 50s the other two.
You say prohibitive. I bet that won't prohibit everyone from lumping on, will they?
No, well, I mean, it looks like an interest rate, in fairness.
Do you remember the old days of 9% tax? It was
9%
prohibitive then, wasn't it? Do you remember that, or are you too young, you two?
10% it was
10%.
at one point. Then it went
It
down
was,
to
that's
9.
right. It went down
Yeah.
to 9, didn't it?
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Brendan?
I think I have paid tax on
How
bet.
old are you, if you don't mind me asking? Well, actually, I don't give a toss whether you do mind. How old are you?
I am 39.
39. Well, oh, Christ, you remember betting tax. Don't worry about that. Try and give it the old, I'm not sure. You must remember it.
Pay the tax.
Right on your slip.
Yeah.
Whether you pay for it up front or...
TPO, tax paid on. Yeah.
I don't have the greatest memory in the
Well,
world.
you certainly don't.
No.
You always paid on though, didn't you?
There was these exotic bets called a round robin as well, and that was like the tax avoiders bet, wasn't it?
I'm not sure about that.
Tax avoiders bet.
You didn't have to pay tax on a round robin. Is that what we're saying?
No, but
pretty sure you did.
if it was running up onto the second one, it's a very complex. Or was it a Union Jack actually?
There was a Union Jack. Yeah.
They're very
Trebles.
complex bets anyway.
That was a treble, and you put your banker in the middle, and then you had like diagonals.
9
didn't
trebles,
you?
I think.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I might do
And
a
on the
Union
outside.
Jack tomorrow.
Just
I should think digitally.
For
It's
old
not as
time's
easy
sake.
as it was with a
God,
slip.
you'd need to be very adept, wouldn't you?
Right, I think does that cover off the Phoenix Stakes? Caravaggio just wins, doesn't it?
Yeah. Shall I tell a little story?
Yes.
Yeah,
How long will it last?
If I can keep it short.
Okay.
So in the winners' enclosure after the Coventry, we all sort of huddle around Aidan, and bearing in mind he's sometimes very enthusiastic in his descriptions of horses, we sort of did put to him, how does this lad compare with some of the other ones? And he sort of played a very straight bat and, I've got into trouble in the past and this sort of thing. So I think he thought he batted that one away. But then Ger Lyons let it be known in his post-race quotes that after the race, Aidan had spoken to him and said, this is the best horse I've ever trained.
Blimey.
So we got that sort of third hand, if you
Do
like,
you think he
second
told
hand,
Jer to tell us that?
so that he would tell us.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Who knows?
It's funny, Jer must be quite a handy man to know, because last night I was watching some racing from Ireland, and Aidan did have one running. No, sorry, it was Jim Bolger had one running in a maiden, and Jer came on at the races, and he said, I've spoken to Jim Bolger, and he says this one is a Group 1 filly that we're racing against here, and it was 11-8, and it did win.
Did you take the hint?
I did take the hint. Yeah,
Great
yeah,
stuff.
It's a nice winner.
Is that how we now then get quotes in the future from Jim Bolger?
Just
Give
ask
Jer
Jer.
lines
Well,
to
yeah,
call.
that's,
Jer
yeah,
lines.
but neither of them talk to us, do they? Jer won't talk to us before the race, will he?
But he'll talk to us maybe about other people's
Funny
horses.
enough, he mentioned on Twitter, because Johnny Ward, who just left the Racing Post, said, you never used to talk to us before the race anyway. And he said, no, the reason I don't do that is because some of the people calling pretend they're from the Racing Post and they're actual punters. Have you ever seen
Oh,
evidence
the
of that?
rascals.
Really?
I reckon we should introduce codes and email them to the Trainers Federation and say, all right, this week we'll be using 9210. So if we say that, it's coach. We could get around it that way, couldn't we?
They've enough to do to remember their codes for entering horses, and just banking. I can never remember my codes that
I
Beck
know.
can do the
It's
internet
tricky.
banking.
Passwords are a nightmare.
Yeah, you're asking a lot of them there, Bruce.
Is anyone seeing beyond Caravaggio? Obviously, Maymas franked the form the other day, didn't he? So, okay, we'll move on, shall we? What else have you got for us at the Curragh, Brendan? I think there's one more race you priced up, isn't there?
No, unfortunately, we didn't manage to price up the sprint. It's a good heat, though. We should have really.
We've got Air Force Blue, haven't we?
Yes, fascinating, and there were signs of life the last day in the July Cup. I thought he didn't get the greatest run, but he looked to be interested and he settled a bit better. So, not a big field tomorrow, but Flight Risk should go on, and Eastern Impact should be up there. So we should have a decent pace to run at Toscanini as well. It'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see how they bet him, actually.
It certainly will. Without having seen the odds, chaps, who do you think's the likeliest winner of this race?
Air Force Blue.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd very rarely, if ever, take issue with Brendan Duke. I don't think I saw a great deal of life in the July Cup.
You see, I would disagree. In fact, in the old Monday column, I did a little snippet saying maybe don't give up on Air Force
okay, fair
Blue
enough.
yet. But you might be right. Well,
No.
I'll be wrong. But
No. Look, honestly, everyone, if Lee Mott said and Brendan Duke take one view and I take the other, those two are right.
No.
G-Rod, you got a view on this race?
Yeah, I think Air Force Blue will win. Yeah. He's
Why?
The winner.
Fastest horse.
He's just a different class to the rest of them. Even I think he can afford to turn up and run maybe a stone below par and still
come
win.
off it. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I'm not having that.
what, stone below what he's been running at this year?
No, sorry, it's stone below his best. So
Okay,
we're
well,
talking
all right,
the
fair enough.
Dewhurst form. I think he could be a stone below that and still beat this lot. I mean, they're not that good.
What
as
price would he be
comparison.
roughly, Brendan?
Oh, I'm gonna guess that with this he will be something like 6-4.
Okay, fair enough. Would that tempt
No,
you?
it wouldn't tempt me at 6 to
Would
4.
it tempt
no.
you, G-Rod?
It's sort of on the cusp.
Okay,
isn't it?
fine. 2:15 at Deauville. Then we've got the Prix Maurice de Geest. Have you priced that one up, Brendan?
We have.
Go on
3-1 Fav Dutch Connection, 5-1 Gold Fun, 13-2 Soudois, 7-2 Don Juan Triumphant, 8-1 Gordon Lord Byron, 9-1 both Signs of Blessing and the Gifted Master, and 14 Spar.
God, you can't write off Gordon Lord Byron here, chaps, can you? What a
No,
horse.
he's a
What
smasher.
a horse.
Sort of horse that we like as romantics. But I don't think he'll win the Prix Maurice de Geest.
Who will?
I would go with Suédois. He's run really well in Group 1s this year for David Amara since he's joined him. Was trained in France, has very good form on soft ground in France, including at Deauville. And soft ground at Deauville is often like soft ground nowhere else. Suédois clearly handles it.
Softer or less soft?
Yeah, always very
Really?
soft. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's by the sea, isn't it?
So what, isn't flood?
Well, you know, I don't know. I'm not. But yeah, so Suédois for me on the very soft Deauville ground.
G-Rod?
Well, the bookmakers must be loving having Dutch Connection in that short on really soft ground, because I mean he doesn't like soft ground. He's a much better horse on really fast ground. I mean he's a layable time, isn't he, at that sort of price? I like Gold Fun. Again, the only problem is he would prefer it a bit quicker, but he was a big guy catcher when he was second at Ascot. I mean, they didn't go hard enough for him. He was finishing best of all. The extra distance will suit him. He might just have enough class.
Okay. Has anyone got any other fancies on Sunday that we haven't mentioned?
I've
Lee?
got a couple in
Oh, go on.
England.
Yeah, go on then.
There's one that runs in a maiden at Leicester. I might have to find it. It should be an absolute certainty. Star Archer, it's called, and it's trained by Hugo Palmer. Now, before this one ran, first time up at York. The dogs were barking that this was his best 2-year-old, Star Archer, and he went off very short price, and he was turned over by Tommy Taylor, who actually runs Friday.
I can't find
Tommy
it.
Taylor will win.
Where is it?
No, I can't find it either.
I don't think it's running.
No, it's definitely entered somewhere. Maybe it's at
Oh, that's
Chelmsford.
handy.
Maybe we're over at
Oh,
Chelmsford.
Chelmsford, right. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry.
We'll just hunt around for this horse.
We will find it.
Would it be worth it? Definitely.
Well, I expect it'll win.
And definitely Sunday. Can you pin us down to a
it's
day?
definitely on Sunday, yeah. And maybe it's at Windsor. Sorry, it's at Windsor.
Oh,
It's definitely at
for
Windsor.
God's sake.
It's Star Archer. It runs
What
at the
time?
2:40 at Windsor.
Blimey, we managed to
And,
nail him down to a meeting
We've
and a
finally
time.
got
What a
it.
bonus.
We've finally got it. Yeah. No, it will enjoy the step up to a mile and a bit or whatever it is, mile and an extra half furlong. And I mean, if it's anywhere near as good as they're touting, then it will win. And
And the other one, you've identified what species it is to start off with, have you, this one?
yeah, now the other one is called Mustalib, and this one runs at Leicester in the 6 furlong handicap at 4 o'clock.
Right.
Right, we got there. And Charlie Hills.
You keeping up with all this, folks?
Charlie Hills was very keen on this one in his Weekender column this week. He said he still thinks it's unexposed and well handicapped. And I saw it win last time at Newcastle when it beat a very well fancied horse of, I think it was Sir Mark Prescott's, by the shortest of short heads, and come home very strongly. I think it'll be well suited by this course. Mustalib should win.
Okay, so to condense the last hour of your lives, folks, Graham fancies Mustalib in the 4 o'clock at Leicester, and he also fancies, oh my God, I've gone and lost
Star Archer.
Star Archer in the 2:40 at Windsor.
Yeah.
Lee, I'm sorry, but you don't fancy anything else, do you?
Well, I've just had a look through Hereford's Arrow Brace card.
No. Forget that. Brendan, anything else from you?
Yes, I have one for the Curragh faithful on Sunday.
Great.
The first race, Slumming Angel. Huge eye catcher at Naas the last day. She'd nearly have won if she hadn't run so free. And for one of Eddie Lynham's to win first time up is nearly unheard of. She's drawn on the paint, so they should come across her and give her plenty of cover over 5 furlongs. This will not be beaten.
Oh, brilliant. I like Slumming Angel. That's a good name, that, isn't it? Right then, folks, what have we got by way of weekend activities and fun? Graham?
I don't think it is going to be too much fun for me. I think I'm working tomorrow on Saturday and Sunday. I don't have any plans at the moment, but I do have the mother-in-law coming.
I thought you just dropped her back to...
No, that was the
Stansted last
granny
week.
from Ireland.
Oh, yeah, did she get back all
Yeah,
right?
she got back safely to Stansted, which was
So you've
great.
had your wife's granny over, and now you've got the mother-in-law
And then we've got
over.
a week off, and then the mother-in-law's coming for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah. And then I've got 2 weeks off work, which I think I might need.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Okay, Lee, what about you? Are you grafting away?
No. Ask It Saturday, Monday column on Sunday, and then the next door neighbour's apple tree is producing quite a lot at the moment. The branches overhang, and
Right.
they're quite happy
So you
for
can
us
go
to
around
pick.
and punch him in the face
No,
for
no,
not
no,
cutting
no,
it
no.
back?
It's going to be a crumble on Sunday evening.
It's a bit early for apple harvest, isn't it?
No, the Bramleys are looking quite.
All right. Blimey. Brendan, how about you?
Well, I have a very busy Sunday. I'm in the Curragh on Sunday afternoon, and I have a date on Sunday night.
Aye. Come on, tell us all about it. What's her name?
Well, Anna is her name. I don't know, Bruce. If the signs are a little bit discouraging, check this out, right?
Right.
So, texting away, working my magic, what have you, she finds out what I do for a living. Turns out she likes a bet, which I always like in a woman. So she says to me, do you fancy it? So I didn't fancy it, but I canvassed the lads, and they gave me this horse anyway, that they thought it'd win. So the thing's gone and won. She gets back to me, and she said, "Oh, I couldn't work the phone to get the streaming. How did it get on?" And I said, "Oh, it won." And so she goes, "Oh, that's great news." Yeah, and I'm obviously giving it the big, and I knew whatever. She goes, "Do you happen to know what was second and third?" And I was there. No, that's a very odd question. We're celebrating a winner here, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I backed another horse in the race."
No way.
She's already hedged her bets on me, Bruce.
Oh my goodness.
That is
me.
fairly scandalous behaviour, isn't it? So I don't
that's
know.
appalling.
So
Where
I'm
are you
going.
going to take her?
I'm going to take her for dinner. But I mean, she's entitled to that. But I mean,
What budget have you set? Low, medium, or high? Are you pushing the boat out?
She said she wasn't going to wear heels, so I don't think I can go high.
No way. No.
This is fascinating.
This is good. Well, listen, when are you next on the podcast? We need to catch up and find out what happened with you and Anna
Oh, I imagine I'm on next Friday. That's my gig.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not away. I'm not about next week, so I'll make sure whoever is sitting.
Oh, I'm doing that. one.
It's you, is it? Oh, well, okay.
we'll
Tune
touch
in next
base,
week
Brendan.
for. Tune in next week for the latest instalment on that. But also
Cilla Black.
before then, on Monday, we will be having a weekend review podcast. So do please join us for that. Thanks very much for listening.
The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They pay more extra places than any other bookie.